So Julian and Captain Bain go back into the line. Now understand, these men had been captured, so they had the opportunity to say, that's it for me, and to go home. They would have been done. But as a lot of these American boys were back then, they were go-getters and they weren't giving up. They went back into the line, and Julian told me the night before they crossed the Rapido River. So this would have been, they were crossed on January 20th of 1944. So the night of January 1944, Julian said they're preparing to cross the Rapido River. And he sees Captain Bain. And Captain Bain's all excited because he says, I got a letter from my wife. We've had a baby. I've got a son. He was over the moon. He had a baby boy. He said they went across the river, and if you know the story of the Rapido River, the Texas 36th Division was slaughtered. In 2 nights that they were forced to cross the Rapido River, they lost 2,000 boys. The division was no longer fit for combat. They had to go to the rear to refit and retrain. They were mauled. Julian told me the next time he saw Captain Bain, they were dragging his body across the river, and that he still had his helmet on with his chin strap right underneath here. And you see he had a bullet hole right beneath the brim of his helmet in the center of his forehead. He never got to see his baby boy. So Julian told me he was at Velletri. I remember he talked about being at Velletri, and the Germans were hiding and surrendering. It's where the 36th Division broke the back of the Germans at the Gustav line there. He talked about there were these big wine cellars that had vats in them in Velletri, Italy. And he said he'd holler down in there to give the guys a chance to come out. And he said if nobody answered, he'd roll grenades in there. And he talked about rolling a grenade into one, and this German came out, and he took his pistol. It was a Browning high power. He showed that to me. So he also had an MP40 that he told me he took at Anzio. And he said it was a part of an MG position, a German machine gun position that they took. And I asked him to tell me the story of it. And boy, he just went silent. He didn't say a word. He wouldn't talk about it. But he brought that home, and he gave that machine pistol to the Texas 36th Division Museum down in Camp Mabry, Texas. So, Julian Quarles, at some point they said, the Germans said, that if you've been captured by the Germans and you escape and you go back into combat and we capture you again, we will execute you. So the American military gave orders to all the men that had escaped that they had to go home. So Julian said that he received orders that he had to be shipped home.